Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is March 6th, and today's episode is going to cover new governance votes that have gone live. We're going to be talking about rETH in DeFi. We've got an update about Pectra, kind of update, and a whole lot more. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Okay, so we got a protocol update from Mav, and this was all about new vote that went live. So he starts off by saying it was great catching up in Denver. Then he says it's a big day for Rocket Pool governance. There are 3 proposals live now for node operators to vote on, RPIP 65, 66, and 68. So make sure you read through the respective documentation before you have your say. So RPIP 65, we've covered all of these on Rocket Fuel before, obviously. So RPIP 65 says this protocol redirects ETH from new rETH mints and new mini pool deposits to the rETH contract instead of the deposit pool. Once enough ETH has built up in the withdrawal buffer, currently 5,090 ETH, it can flow to the deposit pool. Implementation is expected as part of the Saturn upgrade. And then there's the link to the RPIP and the vote. And then there's Saturn follow-up vote. It says 3 minor changes are proposed for the Saturn upgrade to remove ambiguity in the spec, simplify the design, and improve guardrail parameter settings. And then there's a link to the RPIP and a link to the vote. And then the last one is increasing the ODAO share of inflation. RPIP 68 says, unlike the previous 2 votes, this proposal requires a 75% supermajority to pass. The objective is to ensure ODAO operation costs can be covered by redirecting 1% of total RPL inflation from the PDAO, along with signaling intent to remove one ODAO node. So it's slightly more nuanced than that. So we're actually going to talk about that a little bit later when we're talking about the numbers. And then we're going to come back to the rest of that in a little while. So let's actually have a look at the vote website. Okay, here we can see that Snapshot has had a little bit of a refresh, which is looking nice. I actually covered that before. So there's 3 votes live, RPIP 65, 66, and 68. So let's have a look at 65 first. This is passing with 100% of the votes, and it is at 6,400 votes right now. The quorum for this, I believe, is 15,000 votes, somewhere around there. Let me see. This page should have the information. Yeah, it just kind of like, let me show you all. There's kind of like a loading image kind of, and it shows you like, most of that is green. Most of all of it's green, about half of it is green. So I guess like 12 or 13,000 votes. Then the Saturn follow-up vote, this is also 100% green and 6,400 votes. And then the ODAO inflation share is actually not fully green right now. So this is 3,800 votes for and 1,300 votes against. Let's see if there's any reasoning for the votes against. Yes. So here it's Ramana who has voted against. And he says the ODAO should reconsider their member count before the PDAO bails them out. So I support the signal to kick, but not yet the pay increase. Also, the ODAO could possibly do more to support Rocket Pool growth in the broader ecosystem, which would be a better solution to the problem of low RPL price. So I think what Ramana is saying here is that, the ODAO are quite influential people, and they should be out there talking about Rocket Pool, promoting Rocket Pool, bigging up Rocket Pool. For me, I voted in favor of all 3 of these votes. I voted yes for all 3 of them. And with the ODAO pay increase, I said voting for now, but I'm still thinking about this. I might change my vote later. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, this idea of the ODAO pay, when we were deciding on what the ODAO pay should be and how it should all work, at the time we were kind of trying to figure out what the best way to pay them would be. Would it be to pay them in RPL? Would it be to pay them in like US dollars or something like that? And the decision made was to pay them in RPL. And if that RPL amount kept going up, then they would have been paid just fine. But because RPL has gone down, then they haven't been paid fine. So I guess you live by the volatility, you die by the volatility. And if they had expected the prices to keep going up and they had asked for the same amount, they would have said, hey, we wanted the RPL amount. So there's kind of like some nuance there, I think. And I do want to think about it a little bit more before I signal. Obviously, I'm one of the biggest delegates in the community. So I want to make sure that I'm voting on that, the way that I think, although the case is that, the ODA members are not getting paid enough right now. So it does make sense to give them more money. I do like the idea of maybe giving them more now and saying that if the RPL price goes back above a certain threshold, then we will vote to reduce their pay again. So there's certain nuances here that I think might be discussed later. But yeah, this is where we stand right now. So that's something interesting. And it's like that vote needs a supermajority, so it's going to be really interesting to see how it actually works out. Okay, let's talk about rETH in DeFi. And here we have a bi-weekly update from a fortnightly update from stakerocketpool.eth. And this is RPL DeFi update fresh off the presses. So PancakeSwap again is back up there with 28.85% APR. OKX and Uniswap are having a special event that's boosted to 141% if you use the USD like product from Mountain Protocol, I think, and with rETH 141%. So let's have a look at the sheet. So yeah, the Uniswap special event that's giving up to 9% if you use rETH, and 141% if you're using rETH wrapped USDM. So yeah, keep that in mind. Also, if we have a look at L2s, we're seeing that there's 6% on OP with Balancer. There's around 5% to 10% with Balancer on base. So those are looking quite good. And then on mainnet, you can get 28.5% on PancakeSwap up to that amount. And then on Curve, you can get around 4.7% as well. And there's about 6.5% on Balancer. So there's some nice rewards out there for your rETH if you want to play around with that. And yeah, this information is there available for you if you want it. Great update from Regex Buster. Good job. Let me just give that a nice little retweet so people can have a look at it. Okay, and then with that that Regex Buster made, here Sleety's kind of been like working on that and trying to see what he can come up with. So he says that he wants to build upon the doc that Regex Buster put out and making it into a social media friendly template. So you can see that you can see the different amounts that are available, and Sleety wants to kind of play around with that as part of his work that he's doing with Rocket Pool, the protocol, and the PDAO. And then Regex Buster said, that looks very cool. Is there anything I can do to make it easier for you? And Sleety said, no, it's as great as it is. I'm just deliberating whether to include the risk ratings and or incentive tokens in the graphic. And then Regex Buster kind of played around with it a little bit, and Sleety said that looks like a good solution to kind of add a little bit more information there. So yeah, we might be seeing like a beautified version of this popping up on tweets over the next few days and weeks. That's going to be really cool to see. Okay, next we had this post on the forum from a Spartan saying, asking about owning the rETH contract address on Ronin chain. So he says, good morning, replicable community. I would like for the DAO to decide on the best approach for the rETH contract address on Ronin. Before voting, please review the original forum discussion, and there's a link to that, and cast your votes below. So it says TLDR, Ronin Avalanche want to mint $3 million worth of rETH on the chains to boost liquidity. To maintain control and avoid liquidity fragmentation, the proposal suggests that DAO should create and own the rETH contract address on new chains, including Ronin and Avalanche. This would allow the DAO to decide which bridges can mint rETH and prevent fragmentation. Additionally, a bridge campaign is proposed to charge a small fee on rETH volumes, which would fund the DAO. The proposal also mentions exploring the use of the XERC20 smart contracts for rETH, but notes that it is potential difficulties and limitations. A community call campaign is suggested to discuss bridging strategies with different bridge providers. Then there's a poll here, and keep rETH immutable. So that will be then no fees go to the DAO, and create a bridge security council, multi-sig, the fees would go to the DAO. So far, there have only been 2 votes, 1 vote from Spartan and 1 vote from Val. Val was the only person so far who has responded to this, but he's responded with some questions, saying, my understanding this will be Chainlink CCIP, and why can't there be a fee with an immutable contract? My understanding was that Chainlink would collect fees on our behalf and periodically send those fees to us. Then Val says, I do believe there are drawbacks to being immutable. We'd have no direct enforcement mechanism by switching to a different bridge. We would still have a social layer, and I suspect Chainlink's brand identity is worth more than the amount of fees we've talked about. And we'd have no ability to modify things, e.g., more flexible fee structure using a different bridge or something. And he says, who's proposed to be on the Bridge Security Council? Previously suggested 2 members from the team, 2 members from the IMC, 2 members from the GMC, and 2 members from the DAO. He said, I'm not aware of anyone saying they'd be up for being a member yet. One GMC member opined about the need for legal protection, and the core team was suggested a potential owner, as they already have an entity and are generally trusted. Langus seemed a bit hesitant, but didn't close the door. And then Val finishes by saying, right now I'm leaning immutable with fees if possible, but without if need be. This is primarily because I don't think we have a clear owner. So I think I was convinced by Val's argument, so I will also vote here to keep it immutable. I should get involved in this discussion, though I haven't been yet. Okay, let's go back to the protocol update. And Mav ended the protocol update by saying our next community call is protocol update with Langus. So the time for that is to be determined. But he says it probably won't be optimal time for Europe, unfortunately. If you have any questions that you want to be covered on the call, drop them in this thread. And then there's a link to the thread. And then I guess, the call will be coming soon. So Mav just wanted this to be like front of mind for everyone, because it's been like nearly a month since the last call. So he says, what do you want to ask Langus on the community call again? Lee says, are there any new potential friends or partnerships made while attending ETH Denver? And when will they be minting our ETH? And I said, what was the general vibe of ETH Denver for the team? What are some highlight moments? Are there any funny stories? Also, what are the team's plans for DevConnect? And then Mav already hinted yesterday that the team should be going to DevConnect, which is really cool. And then here Ramana said, how is Saturn development going? What was the impact, if any, of the Haleshki extended non-finality on Saturn development? And then Ramana finished by saying, does the team have any thoughts on what to do when big treasuries, e.g. Arbitrum, don't put any of their stake with Rocket Pool? So there's some questions here. I will probably put in another couple of questions here as well, and I'm sure that other community members will put in some questions to kind of fill out a nice bit of community engagement there. And finally, we're actually going to the ETH Research and Development Discord, and this is about the Pectra public channel. So Ramana here yesterday put a post out saying, please let us delay Pectra on mainnet. I don't care where to say this, but hoping there's nobody pushing for a fast or rushed release when there have been so many problems. Not going down is a big part of what makes Ethereum valuable, and that actually got 11 likes here from people like Parithosh and Preston Van Loon, and those big names of developers that are kind of sticking out to me. And then Tim Baiko actually replied yesterday, but I didn't get this information. I didn't see it yesterday. So he says Pectra has not been scheduled on mainnet. Obviously, we'll release this, figure out proper testing plan, and only then schedule Pectra. This is why I'm pretty strongly against trying to have tentative dates for mainnet upgrades. So this was really interesting because today we had an all-core devs call. Sorry, I haven't been able to find a summary of that yet. Nixo and Christine Kim or Tim Baiko themselves haven't put out any information the last time I checked. But there was this idea, right, that, we would have Haleshki, then Sepolia, and then about a month later, we would have Pectra on mainnet, which would, take us to the first week of April or thereabouts. Now, one thing to remember is that the Ethereum Foundation, the team, the Tim Baiko, etc., no one has put out a firm date saying, Pectra is going to take place on this date at this block height, with this idea in mind. And because of that, there's no delay. So it's only a delay in our hopes and expectations. It's not a delay in reality, because there was never a date set in reality. And this is the kind of thing that gets brought up anytime a hard fork is delayed. But the Ethereum Foundation haven't put out a solid date leading up to an upgrade in a long time, and I doubt they're going to be doing that now. So it looks like it looks like that is not going to take place in the first week of April, most likely. It looks like, from what I've heard, it looks like there's going to be a new Haleshki shadow fork, and that is going to be played around with, and then I think something will be decided after that. So my tentative guess now is that we're looking at the middle of April, if not maybe the last 10 days of April. But that's where I would put my guess, like the middle of April being more likely, and then the end of April being slightly less likely, but the beginning of April not being likely at all. That's just my guess. So yeah, I hope they get everything fixed, and this is why we have testnets, right? So good stuff. Anyway, thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.